Hey everybody, welcome back to another episode. Today I'm going to be talking about something I've actually been using the whole time but I haven't spoken about much, and that's glassware. Because it does make a difference if you want to get more out of tasting wine. Now, let's be honest, we have all at some stage drunk wine out of something like this, a tumbler or a cup or a Vegemite jar, and we've enjoyed it just fine. So what I'm going to do in this session is talk about why this would be preferred to trying wine from something like this, although you can still enjoy both. And to do that, I'm going to go back to the makeup of wine, talk a little bit about winemaking, and then show you some examples of other glasses. So let's start with a wine fact. First of all, remember that wine is made up of chemicals, like everything. All these chemicals come out from the grape, and we're manipulating them through the yeast, and we're transforming them, and all these wonderful things are happening. Some chemicals evaporate more easily than others. Some chemicals in the wine are more volatile, and the ones that you tend to smell are the ones that literally get up your nose. So what you do is when you're smelling a wine, what you tend to be smelling is the volatiles, the things that have naturally come off the surface of the wine. Now, if you really want to taste a wine, what you need to do is concentrate those volatiles and bring them together in a way that you can get a lot of them, because the more of them that you encounter, the more that you're actually going to appreciate the flavors and aromas that you're getting. So let's actually talk about something technical, because aroma is the natural smell that comes out of the grapes that you're working, and bouquet, which is often used interchangeably, formally means those smells in a wine that come about from the winemaking itself, so oak or long time spent on lees or whatever it happens to be. So if we're talking about the aroma of Sauvignon Blanc, then we're talking about what a Sauvignon Blanc grape is going to contribute in terms of this volatile fraction. So let's have a look at a glass. Pretty classic glass. We've got a foot, we've got a stem, we've got a bowl, we've got a rim. And one of the things about this is actually, it's probably pretty close to an ISO, International Standards Organization XL5 tasting glass. Sounds really posh, but when you look at it, you suddenly realize that every wine glass you've picked up from, an event or from Tasting Australia mysteriously looks just like this. And that's because they're really good for tasting wine. Why? Well, first of all, firm base. Nice base, so you can put that on the table. Can't see that. It's nice and stable because you don't want to knock your wine over. A stem you can grab. Why? Because it means you're not transferring any heat into the glass itself. You're not changing the temperature. I promise we'll talk about temperature later. So we can get a good swirl going with this. But here's the important bit. The bowl itself, between the rim and the bowl, there's this headspace. And this headspace is where all the smell is going to concentrate. The amount of the aroma that will come out of a wine is going to be proportional to how warm it is. If it's colder, they're less energetic, it won't come out as much, and of course how much you disrupt things. Because what I'm doing when I do this is I'm adding energy to the wine. So as I do this, I'm saying, hey, energy, go into the wine, and it's got to go somewhere, so more of the volatile fraction comes out. Now, of course, one of the things that does come off wine is alcohol. So if a wine's really alcoholic and you go to smell it when it's warm, you are going to get a giant noseful of alcohol smell. And if you leave a glass out and it's got wine in it and you've got a breeze blowing across the top, within a few hours you could have lost almost a quarter of the alcohol, which is just naturally evaporated, because alcohol is volatile and it will come out of the wine preferentially. Those wine tears you see on the sides of glasses, that's effectively the alcohol coming out and then forming on the side of the glass. So these glasses are a good way to taste wine because they allow us to sit it down, fill it up, grab it, swirl it, and get the headspace above. Now, what does that mean for wines that are, say, sparkling, like champagne and things like that? Well, first of all, you don't actually need to shake them very much because naturally, because they're sparkling, they're going to be pushing things out and they're going to fill the headspace. If you do actually swirl it a lot, what you may end up with is it's literally going to have aromatic compounds coming out of the glass so much that it goes off to one side. So that's why the glass makes a difference. It's not that you can't enjoy wine from something like this? Of course you will. You're going to get the wine, you're going to get a fraction here, which is going to fill up with smell. You can still do the whole thing. And sorry, I've been using this for coffee and it smells like coffee, which I wasn't expecting. My apologies. But if you actually wanted to taste wine in something like this, you've got to go down. You've actually got to sit down around here so that when you swirl it, you can actually gather some aroma in there. And of course, if you're actually doing this in a high breeze, it's just going to keep disappearing. So in terms of wine making, we have start off with the aromas of the grape and we add the bouquet that comes through all of the wine making. And if we want to taste, we're going to be using one of these many XL5 glasses. They're cheap, they're easy to grab. Go to a festival, grab one, easy, as in buy one. Don't just steal one from somebody, don't do that. But what about drinking wine? Well, there are so many other glasses that we can actually look at for that. Because here is a very fancy Riedel glass that was a gift. And as you can see, it's freaking huge. This is a very large glass and it is designed to take about that much wine, roughly. That's where you'd fill it up to. And you could enjoy, I'm pretty sure this is actually a Chardonnay glass. I don't know, sorry any soms out there. But you could enjoy a large number of wines in this because you're going to have a beautiful amount of headspace to gather the aromas in. So a really flavorful, intense wine, you're going to get the maximum possible concentration. So this is why you see these big glasses in fancy restaurants, because they're going to augment the enjoyment, notionally, of all the wines that you're spending more money on, because these glasses have been designed to work in harmony with the aromatics, the volatiles that are coming off particular types of grape. Now, unless you have an awful lot of money, it's really not worth buying the full set of these glasses because these are pretty expensive. But there are a couple of glasses that are really handy to have. And XL5s in one form or another are a great glass to have because you can enjoy everything in one of these. That's it. If you are drinking a lot of nice, as in expensive, but as in the good expensive that we've talked about, red wine, then you probably want to look at investing in some larger glasses because they are going to concentrate those beautiful characters and you are going to get more out of it. You will probably drink it more slowly over a longer time and enjoy it more. And this is all about enjoyment. It's 100% about enjoyment. If you've got glasses like this, they will probably work quite nicely for your your bigger whites, so white burgundies and things like that. So really developed and flavorful Chardonnays. But the other glass you really have to have is some sort of champagne glass. And it's that headspace problem again. Because if I put champagne into here, it's going to bubble and I need more headspace to actually contain the champagne aroma. Now, here are two examples. You can see both of them have fairly steep sides. This one is a little more bowed, a little more tulip than this straight-sided one. Both of these are fantastic glasses for drinking champagne. You don't have to spend a lot. If the glass is the right shape, it's going to help you enjoy the wine. If you think this is too much trouble for you, if you get a set of 6 XL5s, they will do everything. They will do sherry, they will do port. Don't fill it up to there on port because you'll die, but you will be able to put wine in, taste it, and you will also be able to enjoy it. Just remember to leave some headspace for that aroma to come through, because once you get into the habit of it, you're going to be doing this all the time. You're going to be smelling, and then you're going to be sniffing, and then you're going to be sipping, and you're going to be doing it a lot. And what that means is you actually enjoy the wine that you buy more. You're always thinking about it. Some other quick ones before I get into a tasting. This is a weird kind of XL5 I got from the Tour Down Under, the Untitled Gourmet Gala. Excuse me. And as you can see, it's a rock solid piece of plastic. It kind of distorts the appearance. Glass is great because you can see wine through it. If we were doing blind tasting, we might use black glass, so you can't see anything inside there. That's really funny because sometimes people can't spot red from white. Quite a lot of people, me included, can easily be fooled if you put it into black glass. So this is a great glass. I bought this and it's a great picnic glass. But here's another one. This is an East End Cellars tasting glass from one of their wine downs. Another plastic. And look at the size compared to this Rydell. What I've got here is a perfect outside white wine glass for summer. And, you know, have it by the pool. It's plastic. What does it matter? Finally, these two are kind of luxury items, and they're not as relevant as they used to be because we're all traveling less. These are Gavino plastic stemless glass. Well, no, they're not glasses, they're plastics. This is, of course, a sparkling. Note the nice convenient side grip, so you can pick it up like that. This is a wine glass, and let's have a look. Let's compare it back. And what do you know? Nice big bowl. In this case, it hasn't got a stem. These are probably, you're going to be enjoying them on the road. You'll be enjoying them in picnics, or when you head off and you're wandering around. You've gone to Robe, staying in a holiday house or something like that, and you want some glasses that are fun that you can pack away so that you've got them. The wine is not going to sit in here for long enough to transfer much heat. So, being brutally honest, the number of times that holding onto a wine glass like this would matter is actually very small. That's why you are now seeing more and more stemless wine glasses, because people have accepted that actually a stemless wine glass is harder to knock over. It's more likely to go sideways. And if you want to enjoy wine, the last thing you want is to pour it all over your own table. So that is glasses. Beautiful, beautiful glass. It doesn't react. It's beautiful and clear. We can see things. If we keep it clean, it's not going to taint the wine aroma or the wine flavor. When you're preparing your glasses, try not to use soap. Use really, really hot water and let them air dry, because you can get to a point where you start smelling your own tea towels or the laundry soap you're using for your tea towels. The best way to prep a glass for a tasting, even to be honest, if it's plastic, really, really hot water, let it air dry, not like that. So shake it all out and let it air dry, and then it's good to go. All right, so I'm going to pause for a moment, and then I'm going to set up for my actual tasting, where I'm going to look at another Fiano. So another Fiano this week, and we've got the Lino Ramble 2019 Ludo Fiano from McLaren Vale. Now, remember I said that one of the things about McLaren Vale is it's warm, and there are certain Italian varieties that absolutely love it. I think, to be honest, every Italian variety seems to love McLaren Vale. It's fantastic. It's a great region, and my heart is in McLaren Vale, but Italian varieties love it just about as much as I do. So this wine has a bit of an interesting history, because about 3 to 4 years ago, this was in fact a blend of French varieties, Marsanne, Roussanne and Viognier, which are quite often seen together and are still varieties that you can get in McLaren Vale. But then they lost access to that fruit and they started doing a Fiano instead. And what they've been going for in this is a white wine where they have added some body to it. They want it to be a rounder style in the mouth. So again, we're thinking about something that is leaning into the sort of the medium weight Chardonnay type of wine. And they've done this by giving it more skin contact than you'd normally see. Remember we said for white wine, we tend to squeeze the skins out and remove them. In this case, they've deliberately left them there to extract more of the compounds from the skin. And what that's going to do is build up the body of the wine. And if it's done properly, it doesn't actually detract too much from, or at all really, from the overall aromas and then the bouquet that's produced during winemaking. So this is a lovely yellow. I mean, look at that. Isn't that wonderful? What a beautiful color. Lovely, lovely looking wine. Now, immediately I'm picking up lime, possibly even a lemon curd character to it, but also a little hint of pine needles, which is slightly unexpected, but let's see how it develops. This wine is possibly a touch too warm. I might try it again later, but because I think it's a little too volatile at this temperature. That's on me. Overall, definite beautiful character of citrus, lime, little bit of lemon curd. Definitely lemon curd. Coming right in, and that big, beautiful body. They have augmented the fruit with this really nice mouth weight. And the acid is not too pronounced, but it's certainly not lacking. Fiano, as I've read now, apparently holds on to its acid pretty well. And that's important because in a hot climate, if things get too sweet, the acid can drop away, and then the wine just doesn't really taste very nice. We tend to call it flabby, which is not a positive thing to say about much. And as I understand the winemaking on this, they didn't want to intervene too much. So they basically let it play out. Ideally, if you can bring a grape out of the vineyard and the sugar's at the right level and the flavor's at the right level and the acid is at the right level and you don't have to add or subtract anything, you are going to end up producing pretty good wine. That's the secret. The secret is you start in the vineyard. And if you have great grapes, then you can make great wine. You can make good wine out of just about any grapes. Give me a drink and I might tell you about that one, but that's another story. Yeah, definitely heavy on the citrus. There's a kind of like an almondy smell, which is quite appealing. McLaren Vale almonds, you gotta love them. Very different from the last Fiano. This one is less elegant, if I can use that term. I'm not being pejorative with that, but this is more of a. It's definitely a food wine. It would go beautifully with food, but it's not one that you would necessarily go into your oysters and things with. I'm thinking more lurking into chicken, something like, chicken mango salad, something like that. Those beautiful fresh fruit flavors, and you want something that's got a little bit of a pickup to it. This is nice. It's about $25. I believe that's the price from the winery. And again, a really interesting wine. Thank you again for watching and for the opportunity for me to try wine and talk to you about stuff. And on that note, good health, salut. Look after yourself, stay well, and I'll see you next time.